Hello and welcome to KoKo Language Learning Lounge.
We're glad you're here. I'm Rob.
And I'm Crystal. Thanks for joining us today. This episode is going to be a little different. It's about a place that completely overwhelmed us in the best way possible.
We're talking about New York City, the city that never sleeps, the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. And let me tell you, it's not like any other place we've been to.
We've been to a lot of cities, but nothing compares to New York. This place hits you in the face with noise, energy, culture, and people all at once. It's chaos, but it's also beautiful.
And in today's episode, we're going to take you through our time in NYC. We'll talk about what we expected, what surprised us, what we learned, and how this one trip changed the way we think about cities and about ourselves.
Whether you're planning a trip to New York or just love hearing travel stories, you're going to want to stick around.
We'll also drop in some fun quizzes along the way to test your knowledge of New York. So if you're learning English or just want to challenge yourself, this is perfect for you.
And by the end of this episode, here's what you'll walk away with: what it's really like to arrive in New York as a first time visitor, how to navigate the city without losing your mind, the lessons we learned by making mistakes and meeting unforgettable people, and why we think everyone should experience this city at least once in their life.
So grab a drink, put your headphones in, and let's dive into the episode, The Time I Went to New York. The first thing I remember was the sound. As soon as we stepped out of the airport, it hit us: sirens, honking horns, people shouting, taxis zooming by. It was loud and honestly a little intimidating.
I remember thinking, where are we? I had always imagined New York to be busy, but this was something else. And this was just the airport.
We had booked a taxi to our hotel in Manhattan. The ride was intense. Our driver barely said a word. He just nodded when we told him the address, pulled out into traffic like he was in a race, and didn't stop once for 30 minutes.
And the view, oh my gosh, the skyline. When I saw the tops of the buildings peeking through the clouds, my heart started racing. It felt like I was entering a giant living machine.
The buildings were so tall. They don't just tower over you, they swallow you whole. It felt like we were ants crawling through a canyon made of steel and glass.
Our hotel was in Midtown, just a few blocks from Times Square. The second we stepped out of the cab, someone nearly ran into me. I looked up, and a guy was yelling into his phone while dodging people like it was an obstacle course.
And that's when we realized people in New York walk with purpose. No stopping, no slowing down. If you're in the way, they will let you know.
Yep, that was lesson number one. Keep moving. Don't look confused. And whatever you do, don't stop in the middle of the sidewalk.
But even though it was chaotic, it was also exhilarating. It felt like we were in the center of the world.
All right, first quiz of the episode. Which of the following neighborhoods is located in Manhattan? A. Brooklyn Heights. B. Harlem. C. Astoria. The answer is B. Harlem.
The next challenge was figuring out how to actually get around. Our hotel concierge handed us a subway map, and I swear it looked like a plate of spaghetti. Colored lines everywhere, abbreviations, arrows, local trains, express trains. I was completely lost.
Same here. I had taken public transport in cities like London and Paris, but New York's subway was in a league of its own. The first thing I noticed was how fast everything moved. Trains came quickly, and people moved like they knew exactly where they were going.
But we didn't. On our first day, we tried to take the subway downtown to the World Trade Center. We ended up going uptown twice.
Twice. Because we got on an express train that skipped 5 stops we needed, and then we panicked and got off at the wrong station. And then, wait for it, we got back on the same train going in the wrong direction again.
Yeah, that was when I realized New York has no patience for hesitation. One wrong move and you'll find yourself in the Bronx when you meant to go to Wall Street.
Eventually, we figured it out. The secret was to pause, take a deep breath, and ask for help. New Yorkers have a reputation for being rude, but in reality, they're just in a hurry. If you ask politely, most people are more than willing to help.
Totally. One guy even walked us to the right platform just because we looked so confused. That was a moment I'll never forget.
And from that day on, we became subway pros. We knew our A trains from our 6 trains, and we even learned the art of swiping your Metro card just right, not too fast, not too slow.
We also walked a lot. I think we averaged about 20,000 steps a day. That's the thing about New York, you don't really need a car. Walking is faster and you get to see more.
Some of my favorite moments were just walking through neighborhoods, watching people, seeing the different cultures represented in each block. It's like the whole world lives in this one city.
Next quiz question coming up. Which of these is a common New York City subway mistake for tourists? A. Taking a taxi during rush hour. B. Using cash instead of a Metro card. C. Getting on an express train by accident. The answer is C. Getting on an express train by accident.
One of the most fascinating things about New York wasn't the buildings or the lights. It was the people. I've never seen so many different kinds of people in one place.
Absolutely. There were business people in suits, artists with paint on their jeans, street performers dancing on corners, tourists looking up at the skyscrapers, and immigrants selling food from carts all in the same block.
Every neighborhood had its own vibe. Harlem was full of music and energy. Chinatown smelled like delicious dumplings. Williamsburg felt like a giant art gallery. And the Upper West Side was calm and elegant.
What amazed me was how everyone coexisted. You could be sitting in a coffee shop next to a Wall Street banker and a fashion student, and somehow it just worked.
I also noticed how resilient people were. New Yorkers are tough. You could feel that energy everywhere. I remember one morning, it started pouring rain out of nowhere. People just pulled out umbrellas and kept moving. No complaints, no drama.
And the honesty. New Yorkers don't sugarcoat things. I asked a barista where the best bagels were, and she said, well, not here. Go 2 blocks down. I loved that.
It was refreshing. People were direct but not mean. They just didn't waste time pretending. I appreciated that so much.
One interaction that stuck with me happened in Central Park. We sat on a bench next to an older gentleman reading a newspaper. We struck up a conversation, and he ended up sharing how he'd lived in the city for over 50 years. His stories were amazing.
That was the moment I realized New York isn't just a city. It's a collection of millions of personal stories all happening at the same time.
Okay, here's your next quiz. What is one characteristic often associated with New Yorkers? A. They avoid tourists. B. They are always late. C. They are direct and resilient. The answer is C. They are direct and resilient.
Okay, so we've talked about the subway, the people, and the madness, but let's get to the good stuff, the landmarks. There are so many places in New York that are instantly recognizable from movies, TV shows, and history books.
Yeah, it felt like walking through a Hollywood film set. Our first stop was the Statue of Liberty. We took the ferry from Battery Park, and the view of the skyline from the water was just wow.
The wind was wild that day, but when we finally saw Lady Liberty up close, it was moving. There's just something powerful about her knowing she was the first thing so many immigrants saw when they arrived in America.
We went to Ellis Island too. The museum there was incredible. There were letters, old suitcases, even audio recordings of immigrants telling their stories. I got emotional listening to one woman describe how scared she was stepping off the boat.
It reminded me how cities like New York were built on hope and struggle, and both are still there today.
After that, we walked through the financial district and ended up at the 911 Memorial. It was quiet. People spoke in whispers, the names etched into the bronze panels. The sound of the water falling into the footprints of the old towers, it made us pause.
Yeah, that was one of the few times in New York where everything felt still.
Then we visited the Empire State Building. We went at sunset, which was perfect timing. As the lights turned on across the city, we looked out and realized just how massive it is.
You could see the grid layout of the streets, tiny taxis moving like ants, and buildings stretching to the horizon. It made me feel both small and inspired.
And of course, we couldn't miss Times Square. We went at night. It was crowded, noisy, and full of flashing lights. It wasn't peaceful, but it was unforgettable.
It was like being inside a giant video game. Ads playing on walls, street performers doing flips, tourists posing for selfies. A sensory overload in the best way.
All right, here's your next question. Which landmark in New York City offers panoramic views from the top? A. Brooklyn Bridge. B. Empire State Building. C. Grand Central Terminal. The answer is B. Empire State Building.
Let's talk about food. If New York had a second name, it might just be the city of food.
Yes, there's a joke that you could eat at a different restaurant every day for the rest of your life and still not try them all. That's probably true.
Our first food experience was street food. We were starving, so we grabbed halal chicken and rice from a cart near Fifth Avenue. It was amazing. Spicy, saucy, and so much food for under $10.
Then came the pizza. We had to try the classic New York slice. Thin, crispy crust, gooey cheese, and just enough grease to fold it in half without breaking. It was perfection.
I had 3 slices in one sitting. No regrets.
One morning, we woke up early to get bagels from a shop in the Upper West Side. They had this everything bagel with scallion cream cheese that I'm still dreaming about.
And don't forget the black and white cookies. That soft cake texture with half chocolate, half vanilla icing. It's not just a cookie, it's a symbol.
We also explored Koreatown and had some seriously spicy kimchi jjigae. I loved that within just a few blocks, we could find authentic food from any country.
It really speaks to how international the city is. We even stumbled into a food festival in Brooklyn, vendors from Jamaica, Ethiopia, Mexico, all serving up delicious dishes.
The variety is overwhelming in the best way. But what I appreciated most was that food in New York isn't just about luxury. It's about comfort, culture, and community.
Time to test your foodie knowledge. Which of these is considered a classic New York food? A. Deep dish pizza. B. Philly cheesesteak. C. Bagels with cream cheese. The answer is C. Bagels with cream cheese.
So by now, you might be thinking, everything sounds amazing. But let's be real, not everything went smoothly.
Definitely not. One morning we were rushing to catch a ferry to Staten Island. Google Maps said it was a 10-minute subway ride. What it didn't say was that the station we needed was closed for repairs.
We panicked. We sprinted down the street, desperately trying to flag down a cab during rush hour. It was pouring rain and no one was stopping. And yes, we missed the ferry.
And you know what? That was the best thing that could have happened. Because we ended up sitting in a small diner near the harbor, soaked and frustrated, and having one of the most honest conversations we'd had in months.
Sometimes getting lost or having things go wrong leads to the most memorable moments. That's a big lesson we took from New York's surrender to the chaos.
Exactly. If you fight the pace, the noise, the crowds, you'll be miserable. But if you embrace it, suddenly everything becomes an adventure.
Another lesson? Speak up. Be assertive. If you're too shy to ask questions or too afraid to say, "Excuse me," you'll get left behind in New York.
I used to be the kind of person who avoided conflict. But in New York, I had to learn how to be confident, how to claim space, how to say, hey, I was next.
And that confidence carried over into other parts of our lives. Even after the trip, I found myself walking faster, speaking more clearly, and not apologizing for taking up space.
New York teaches you to be bold. And that might be the greatest souvenir we brought back.
Let's check if you've been listening. What is one life skill Rob and Crystal say they improved in New York? A. Driving in traffic. B. Speaking multiple languages. C. Being assertive. The answer is C. Being assertive.
If you're someone who loves art, music, or theater, New York will blow your mind.
I still can't get over Broadway. We saw a performance of Hamilton, and it was electric. The acting, the music, the storytelling, it was next level.
We also explored smaller theaters off Broadway. We saw an indie play in a tiny black box theater downtown, and it was just as powerful in its own way.
Don't even get me started on the museums. The Met, the MoMA, the Guggenheim. I felt like we were walking through the chapters of an art history book.
At the Met, I stood in front of a Van Gogh painting and got chills. You see these things in books, but seeing the actual brushstrokes in person is unreal.
And then there's the street art. In Bushwick, we took a graffiti walking tour, and it completely changed how I view murals. These weren't just tags. They were stories, protests, celebrations, all told through spray paint.
We even caught a jazz performance in a tiny Harlem basement bar. The vibe was intimate, soulful, and absolutely unforgettable.
What struck me most was how art is everywhere in New York. Not just in museums or theaters, but on walls, in parks, even on the subway.
Okay, culture lovers, here's your next question. Which of these museums is located in New York City? A. The Louvre. B. The Met. C. The Uffizi Gallery. The answer is B. The Met.
On our last day, we went for one final walk in Central Park. The sun was setting, the sky was pink, and people were sitting on benches, riding bikes, walking dogs. It felt like the city was saying goodbye.
I sat there thinking about everything we had done. We got lost, we found our way, we laughed, we ate too much, we got rained on, and we learned so much not just about New York, but about ourselves.
It's hard to explain, but being in a place like New York changes you. It stretches your comfort zone. It forces you to grow.
We went there thinking we'd check off some tourist boxes, but we came back feeling more open, more capable, and more alive.
And now, whenever life feels too quiet or predictable, we say, "Remember New York?" It reminds us that life can be messy, fast, unpredictable, and beautiful.
Final quiz question. What was the setting for Rob and Crystal's final reflection in New York? A. Times Square. B. Central Park. C. Brooklyn Bridge. The answer is B. Central Park.
So, what was the time I went to New York really about?
It was about stepping into something bigger than ourselves, about meeting people, facing challenges, finding beauty in the chaos, and realizing how strong we really are.
It was about trying new things, sometimes failing and still moving forward.
And most of all, it was about saying yes to life.
So, whether you've been to New York or not, we hope this episode gave you a taste of the magic and maybe even inspired your next adventure. Thanks for joining us on KoKo Language Learning Lounge. We'll be back soon with another episode.
Until then, take care and happy learning.